2 finals for the day complete. I don't know how much you know about gear trains and radial axis on certain types of bearings. It's just, well, no, I mean, it's worth knowing and helps me know which machines I'm gonna like the most. But let's focus on what we're really focusing on. Legs. I have a vendetta against my quads, which I want to at least begin to settle the score on today. So, hamstrings, same as normal, hamstring curls. I am going to do some hip hinging. Can't really do cable RDLs at this gym. They don't have a certain, you kind of need a specific setup to do cable RDLs, which unfortunately, another benefit of having a couple gym memberships, maybe one gym around you does have a cable RDL machine with like an elevated platform. But some kind of RDL, be it barbell, there is an RDL machine, kind of like a weight loaded kind of thing you'll see later. It's okay. I give it a solid okay. But that'll be first. Hamstrings completely out of the way. Pretty much as heavy as I can go. It's not so important that I hit an all-time PR every lift, rep-wise, weight-wise, whatever. Especially not when I'm dieting down. But that's not necessarily what I'm even aiming for, even when I do go really heavy. It's not for the sake of going as heavy as I've ever gone. It's more so just to go as heavy as I can go on that specific day. You can do a set where you pushed it to the absolute limit. Let's say you're doing chest. You did 250 on incline bench for 10. And you had your buddy, assist you on the last 2. You could have gone the absolute hardest that you could possibly go. And the week before, maybe you did 275 for 10, and you had to have your buddy help you on those last 2. And you were kind of exerting yourself the exact same amount. You were just a little weaker on that day, for whatever reason. I don't see that as a problem, man. If you consistently push yourself as hard as you can on your sets, then progressive overload and just kind of overall gains in general, they're just gonna kind of happen, Like, I've never been a massive fan of walking around with one of those little black and white sort of notebooks to track all my sets and all my, literally, these guys are tracking every set, every weight that they're doing, comparing themselves to their last week so that they can make sure that they're, incrementally progressing in terms of the weight, like adding 5 pounds, adding 5 pounds to their top sets on every, compound movement, which, all well and good, but, I just don't think it needs so much action to really track and make sure. Because all you're doing there is like, okay, I need to make sure that I go as hard as I did last week. But if you're already flooring it on the gas in terms of your intensity, then you don't need to make sure that you're a little ahead of where you were before. Because by going through the process of doing a seriously rough set, when you go home, eat a proper amount of food, get a proper amount of rest, and recover, by the time you come back, if your training stimulus was fucking legit enough, you will have at least begun to adapt to it. And that doesn't mean, you've instantly gained a pound of muscle so you can lift more and do a heavier set. But you will be a touch stronger. Even a week to week, week to week's probably a little quick. Let's just say, even checking in on yourself every 2 weeks, you can make noticeable gains. Now, small, but still noticeable. So, all I'm trying to say there is make sure you really fucking push it. But I don't think I have anything else to say. Let's just get in there and get started. This leg curl is not as heavy as I would prefer. And I could counteract that by doing single leg sets, but it kind of just takes a while. So instead of just my typical kind of brutish reps, I'm going to be a little more methodical with these ones. So I'll do the kind of like half rep, pause, finish the full rep, squeeze extra hard. You get the idea. A little bit of a lighter approach. Few more same style. Oh my gosh. There we go. Let's burn out with something just like that. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think a superset for the next one will be good. All right, so luckily I can work in with somebody already doing RDLs. So I don't know, man. For me, RDLs, it's not my main thing. I like them, but I'm not going to completely wreck my hamstrings on them. And that could just be me. That could just be a skill issue. But what I really like is burning out on hamstring curls first and then trying RDLs. Not only do I feel like it's just easier to hit failure, because if I go too heavy, I'm literally just going to be working all glutes, all lower back, just fucking nothing. So, secondarily to that, if you have a hard time feeling your hamstrings on RDLs, I think pre-exhausting is a good method. But let's hit this shit and then get quads ready. Come on. All right. Okay. Oh, goodness. Okay. Oh, that's perfect. Let's jump on the leg extension. So I have substantially warmed up my quads and my knees and everything fancy in between by way of sitting here and gradually working up in weight. I'm not talking 10 rep sets. I'm not talking 20 rep sets. I'm talking like maybe 6 light reps at a time, each leg. Wait a minute, go a little heavier. Same thing, a little heavier, a little heavier, a little heavier. And then, well, the whole point of that, for one thing, is going to make me feel good when I really load up a lot of weight on the heavier sets. And
it gives you a good gauge of where your strength is on the day. You know, like if you were going to do if you could do, let's say your benching weight was 225, you wouldn't just jump straight to 225. You got no idea what your current state is in terms of how much you can lift. Because day by day, week to week, your strength should be a gradual increase over time, but it's still going to fluctuate. So taking your time for the first movement of a muscle that you do to warm up, highly advocate. I mean, before I do any heavy bicep curls, I start out with the 20s, just 5 reps each side, then put them down. Before I do fucking super heavy squats, I'm going to send a leg extension, warm up with really fucking lightweight and gradually increase it. But once the workout has started, once I've worn myself up to the point where I can do some heavy sets of leg extensions, I don't need to warm up anymore. I'm warm. So even when I go up to do squats, I'm still going to, do a plate and 2 plates, 3 plates. That's purely just to get exposed to the weight. My quads are ready for load. So don't spend too much time doing like feeler reps and warm up sets every time you switch movements. Your bicep doesn't know if it's doing a dumbbell curl or a cable curl. All it knows is once it's warm, it's ready to load some fucking force. So let's probably 2 heavy single leg sets here, and then grab a squat rack. All right. Okay. 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 Those were. Now I'm ready to do a real set, if you know what I mean. All right, let's go fucking nuts on it. Oh. Yeah. 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 Yay. Oof. Oof. Oh my god. Ah. Ah. Oh, that was perfect. Oh. Oh. It has been a fucking while since I've seriously failed a set of squats. Oh my god. I don't think I want to re-rack it and do it again. Let's pick a new movement. All right, so I'm definitely not going to outdo that set in terms of loading. Honestly, if I tried to If I re-racked it and tried 5 plates again, I'd probably get fucking 3 reps. So instead, let's totally shift gears, do a nasty light set of leg extensions. And when I say light, I mean it. Really squeeze focused. I'm trying to kind of, well, just reach a certain amount of burning sensation, if you will. There. A little heavier. Yeah. Whoa. Okay. One more like that. Next, feel superset into sissy squats. Okay. Nearly done. Honestly, if this next one's extra nasty, that'll be it. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. Okay. Let's go see the pump and get ready to go home. Oh my goodness. There we go. Actually, let's get the let's pull down this ISO to 160, if you know what I'm saying. But nasty set of squats, really good sets of leg extensions. I love this kind of extra wide neck shirt because I can get a peek into my chest striations, even though I'm not even doing chest today. But let's focus on the matter at hand, the muscle group at hand, legs. And dude, my hamstrings were so fucking pumped after that hamstring portion that when I was warming up for leg extensions, I felt like I was gonna pull my shit. Because you gotta remember, like if your arm is your leg, just bear with me, then your biceps are hamstring. So when it's fully pumped and I'm doing leg extensions, I feel like I'm gonna fucking pull something. No, but it was that was a good one. So let's see if my legs look as good as they feel. And you know, not that this is a spoiler, but they feel pretty fucking good already. There we go. So you tell me, you be the judge. Well, actually, what am I talking about? You don't need validation from any external opinion. It's fucking bananas. But let's take a few steps back into the fancy pants lighting. There we go. So I mean, that's a set of legs right there, I say. Ooh. Yeah, that shot especially. You got the fucking hamstring poking out and everything. That's what I'm going for. This little line of separation between hamstring and quad. Yeah. That'll just get even more defined the leaner that I get. As well as the bigger that your hamstrings get. But, oh yeah, let's get a small peek from the back. Yeah, there's some separation there. But I think that's all we got to say. So, legs pumped to the point where not even flexing them, just standing, I can feel how tense they are. This is a good one. Oh, what am I talking about? I got to do a little breath hold to see how veiny I can get them. For me, my left quad is always going to be ahead of the game, veins wise. But let's add some extra freak factor. Oh, perfect. Let's roll. After a good day's workout, I have developed a strong ass hankering for a foot-long turkey, lettuce, pickles, onions, green peppers, black olives, yellow mustard, if I didn't say that already, Subway sandwich. One little hack that makes it maybe a little bit more kind of something that I'm eating specifically to be a little lower calorie, because the bun itself, I mean, it's 80 grams of carbs, so it's a pretty good chunk. But if you're anything like me and you like eating those, or if you just like having turkey sandwiches in general, you know, just kind of a classic little snack kind of food, you've got to get low calorie mayonnaise. You've got to get the low fat mayonnaise. You're not going to notice a difference, and you literally just cut your calorie intake, at least from that specific condiment, down by, I mean, what, 4x in some cases? You know, I mean, 1 tablespoon or whatever one serving of fucking mayonnaise is, like one even spread, 15 grams of it, it's like 10 grams of fat. And more than likely, you're probably doing 2 servings. You're pushing almost 200 calories right there in just one little bit of food, which doesn't even really contribute to the amount that it makes you feel full. You know, so just by making one quick little, not conversion, but replacement with a calorie smart option, you know, I just saved myself some calories for the day. And those add up. Those add up all over the place. You know, if you're making eggs in the morning, maybe don't use so much oil in the pan. Maybe instead of your full-on 6 egg yolks, you know, just do 2 of them. Definitely, if you're gonna have eggs, have some yolks for sure.
that it's a real quality fat source. I'm talking omega-3 fatty acid, you know the deal. But you got to kind of cut back somewhere. I was about to say cut corners, but that's not really a good representation of what I mean by that. You know, it's you're eating a certain amount of calories throughout the whole day. And if you're a little more careful about where those calories come from, you can literally eat more food and feel more full throughout your whole day of eating. And that's the name of the game when it comes to dieting down, at least for me, is kind of feeling a baseline level of fullness evenly throughout the day, so that I never get to a point in time where I'm like, dude, oh man, I'm fucking starving, I gotta eat something. You know, and then you go overboard. Anybody who kind of approaches dieting with sort of, I don't want to say starvation mode, but I kind of do, you know, where you really just eat like nothing for breakfast, you have nothing for lunch, you know, you just tone back, you hardly eat jack. As soon as nighttime rolls around and you're fucking starving and nobody's going to stop you from busting into the freezer and taking a few scoops of ice cream, you're going to go nuts. And you're going to completely undo your whole day of dieting, which you put so much energy into and so much uncomfortability into, in just one, you know, crazy kind of splurge at the end of the day. One little tub, 1 pint of a Ben & Jerry's, which, you know, I don't know about you, but if you put that in front of me and then you turn away for, I don't know, maybe 0.3 seconds, and you turn back, the whole thing will be gone, carton and all. That could be 1,200 calories, or even 1,400 if you got a really fat, heavy one. You know, maybe like some Reese's Cups kind of situations or whatever else. So, you know, foods where it's only kind of a small portion. You know, if it's something you can fit in your hand, and it's above 500 calories, that's probably not an awesome move. You know, I still love going to Wendy's every so often, getting like a chicken sandwich or whatever. But that's kind of as a treat, you know, because it's not particularly filling. Because I could do a lot. If you give me a meal that I need to make with about 50 grams of carbs, 15 grams of fat, and about 25-ish grams of protein, I mean, I'd probably go a little higher on the protein. But that's half a pound of ground beef, a little bit of a low-calorie barbecue sauce, and then 50 grams of carbs worth of rice. Maybe mix in some like low-carb cauliflower rice, where it's really just chopped vegetables too, and like a side salad, just salt and pepper with vinegar. I got a whole fucking meal in front of me, where once I actually finish it, I literally feel like I've got some stuff in my belly. And that's, you know, those are kind of some of the things that I like to focus on. So, you know, you can't get around the fact that it is going to be kind of difficult. You know, it is going to take manual effort and discipline on your end to make sure you're, you know, keeping your calorie intake regulated day in, day out, right? It is kind of a chore, but it doesn't have to be torture, you know? Like, if all I wanted to do was, well, I don't even know. I can't even think of a way to, like, diet down badly. But, like, let's say like, this is something I would not want to do right now. I've only got my 2,600 calories for the whole day. You tell me. You know, and this isn't rhetorical. I just think about it. Is it a good idea for me to blow 1,500 of those calories on a really big breakfast, 8 a.m.? And then that's only going to leave me 1,000 calories for the rest of the entire day. You know, if you break that down into like calories per hour, if you had a 1,500 calorie breakfast and that was gone by 9 o'clock, and you're probably not going to go to bed till midnight or maybe even 1, so let's just say you're going to be up for another 12, probably 15 hours at least. That doesn't even give you 100 calories per hour. You get like 60 calories an hour if you were really trying to track it. And I don't know if you know what 60 calories looks like, but that's like that's like 5 Pringles, you know? So if you have a crazy massive breakfast, for you to stretch 1,000 calories in one day, that would be like eating 5 Pringles every hour. And that's your food for the day. You know, not that that's a good method. I'm just kind of saying that as an example. So, you know, if I had to kind of break down my approach with what I do for me, you know, I try to be a little more sparse with the calorie intake in the beginning of the day. You know, have like a 600 calorie lunch ish, and then, you know, 500 ish, 400 calorie size meals evenly spread out for the rest of the day. Maybe try to save a little bit so I can have like a 700 calorie meal right before bed. Go to bed on a full stomach. Then I can wake up in the morning and do the same thing. You know, it's not very hard, at least for me, to kind of skip breakfast and don't start, you know, my eating window until a little bit later in the day. But I think most people would agree, at least anybody who's tried dieting down, you are going to have a very hard time if you run through your calories and, like, let's say your goal is to hit 2,000 and that's your limit. You know, that's what you've been sticking to. If that 2,000 is gone by 3 o'clock, I'm not saying you can't do it, but you're going to have zero fun going from 3 till like 10 or midnight or whenever you're going to go to bed, eating nothing. And more than likely, you're just going to fucking eat something else, go over your limit, and, you know, that day is kind of bunk. You're not screwed. If you have a day where you go over your calorie limit and you're dieting down, you're not screwed. You know, you're not cooked. I'm getting some comments now. It's like, dude, I had a 3,000 calorie cheat day, or I had a 5,000 calorie cheat day. Am I screwed? No, man. No, you're not screwed. You know, one day isn't going to wreck you like that. But every time I see those comments, you know, instantly reply, you're all right, but you got to lock in. You know, you got to get back on track. So that's kind of the approach that's been reasonably decent for me. Well, not even reasonably. It's, you know, kind of following that method. I've never really had a problem trimming down every time that I'm in like a dieting phase. But, you know, it's kind of something where me telling you that, it's information, you know, stuff you could kind of apply to your own shit. But you're really gonna have to do it yourself to really get an idea of, you know, how it's gonna work for you. So don't be afraid to get some diet soda in the mix either. You know, I wouldn't say swimming pool level, but I've definitely gone through my fair share of 2 liters in one day of, you know, fucking Sprite Zero. And you know what sucks for me? This will be my last thing I say before we get out of here. But it is so rare. You know, there's Diet Coke, there's fucking, there's like some orange soda, like Crush or whatever, that's 0 calorie. I never see Diet Grape Soda. That's like my favorite. Not like all the time, but I kind of have a rotation. I never see it. It's got to be the rarest thing in the fucking world. And when I do, if there's 3 of them in that little soda aisle, 3 2-liters, guess what? They're going to be out of stock as soon as I walk past. But I think another 3-ish weeks, potentially 4. I mean, we'll just have to kind of gauge it as time progresses. But I'm definitely getting excited to bulk up again. You know, I'm still human. I can feel the fact that I'm limiting my calories. But, you know, come on, tough it up. You can't deal with a few months of being a little bit hungry for the greater good of progressing your gains. You know, come on, be a man. So, chest tomorrow, cardio in the morning as usual. Quick little 30 minutes of Clash Royale, TikTok, Instagram brain rot. The time passes like nothing. I really don't understand why you guys have such a, let's just say, a negative perception of it. But you do you. I can't force you. I can only encourage. But yeah, so I'll see you tomorrow for chest.